Sabrina Loves Justice. We fight modern slavery and pursue freedom and justice for all. You're in the right place if you want to hear true stories about human trafficking and learn from the experience. Today, we'll hear a true story of a human trafficker who used his physical appearance to intimidate vulnerable women and even sharpened his teeth to wicked points. There is no better way to understand the horrors of this crime than listening to the stories of those who have personally lived it. We can learn from these stories and become stronger in the fight against modern slavery. So please click the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and like and comment if you're inclined. There is a misconception that human trafficking is a foreign problem and that victims are transported from other countries. That does happen, but every state in our union has reported human trafficking, and today's story is from Flint, Michigan. Warning, this true story contains some material that may come across as graphic. Michael Barajas from Michigan is a very bad man. He wears his ugliness on the outside in the form of bad facial tattoos and a DIY dental treatment only a piranha's mother could love. He will not be working at Chick-fil-A anytime soon. The 36-year-old Genesee County man is accused of building a human trafficking gang called the Mossad Squad. He and his generals have been charged with 20 felonies, kidnapping women and holding them hostage in a Flint, Michigan home. We don't know what made Michael the man he is today, but we do know that he relied on physical distractions to intimidate people, body alterations, and driving around in a Hummer, stalking prey. He also relied on his gang of underlings to carry out his bidding, which reinforces the theory that he is probably an impotent man. Recently, Genesee County Sheriff Chris Swanson shared shocking details of how Michael and his gang kidnapped a 20-year-old woman and abused her. I knew this serial monster was bad, but I did not realize he's as bad as what I'm going to tell you today, Swanson said. Based on the sheriff's retelling of events, this is what we know. Last year during the holidays,
Ho, ho,
Michael
ho.
Barajas sent his lackey, 23-year-old Alex Matthew Schmidt, out in their impressive yellow Hummer to go hunting. His directive was to find prey, a young, vulnerable woman. The hunt led Alex to a road near Flint where he saw a 20-year-old woman walking by herself. The predator swooped in and executed a common ploy used by human traffickers everywhere: build trust and supply the victim with whatever they need. This victim was cold, dirty, and hungry, so he offered her a warm place to stay, a shower, and food. Even though Michael and his band of idiots likely don't know what Maslow's hierarchy of needs is, Alex knew that the hook he needed to get a woman to comply and into the vehicle was to just take care of her and provide basic hygiene. The villains had a house on Marmion Avenue in Flint that they acquired as a home base for Mossad Squad. I can't find any detail about what the name of this gang means, except to say that Israel's national intelligence agency is called the Mossad. So we don't know if Michael meant to emulate the intelligence agency and just misspelled the title, but in Michael's mind, the name signified a successful human trafficking organization. Michael Barajas had trained Alex and other so-called generals to execute a kidnapping, so Alex took the woman back to this lair where Michael was waiting with his sharply filed fangs. This poor woman was raped by several men in this house of horrors while the generals held her down. Cowards and rapists, all of them. They used ropes and other items to detain the woman and would put a gun to her head to get her to carry out their perversions. They made her put a pacifier in her mouth and demanded that she call them daddy as they raped her. Imagine this man holding a gun to your head, telling you he's going to blow your head off if you don't do exactly as he says. He would show her his sharply filed teeth and tell her, "I'll rip your throat out with these if you don't call me daddy." This poor woman was kept in this house for 2 weeks and would often be left alone for extended periods of time, so she bravely attempted escape, but with no success. They had barricaded all the doors and even screwed the windows shut. There was no way out. During one escape attempt, the woman was actually able to get out of the house and run down the street, but one of the generals fired a gun at her, then tackled her before she could get to help and physically dragged her back to her jail. The woman even managed to stab Barajas at one point, but her efforts only caused her more punishment. She didn't give up. In another attempt, she escaped and made it to a nearby McDonald's, but Michael got to her just as she was about to go inside, and he successfully convinced her with threats to her life that she shouldn't scream, and he dragged her back to the house again. Thankfully, the woman was finally rescued on December 8th of last year when she had a medical emergency that landed her in the hospital where alert staff rescued her. The rescue spurred a raid on the gang's lair, and Barajas was arrested, charged with kidnapping, criminal sexual conduct, and assault with a dangerous weapon. His bond was set at $250,000. He did not make bail. This arrest broke open another story, and as often is the case, one person's story of survival and trauma strengthens other victims to come forward. Another Mossad squad victim came forward in January and told the story of Michael targeting her when she was just 4 years old. Now, this story has some very familiar chapters. Michael Barajas and his biological family were friends with this girl's family. She knew him. In the vast majority of human trafficking cases, the victim knows their trafficker. Michael used the same death threats with her as a child that he had made with this woman who had been kidnapped, and he successfully sexually assaulted this 4-year-old girl up to 5 times a week from 2003 to 2007. She says she was raped by Michael Barajas more than 100 times, starting at the age of 4. Relief only came to this child when Michael's family and her family had a falling out and she was removed from his presence. Michael Barajas is a serial monster, and officials are urging any other victims to come forward and tell their story. They need to be heard, and justice needs to be served. Based on what we know today, Michael has been trafficking victims for the last 15 years, and the hope is that more of his victims will come forward. Michael is facing life in prison, and additional witnesses will help ensure justice. Sheriff Swanson commented that the brutality, the look, the intimidation, I've seen nothing like it. He doesn't stop. He will not stop. That's why he's a serial monster. Michael's generals and participants in this violent sex ring, Alex Matthew Schmidt, 23, and Joanne Nahi Housie, 33, have both been arrested as members of the human trafficking operation. Schmidt has been charged with kidnapping and first-degree sexual assault. Another man is being sought by authorities, Cody Lauer. He was an active participant in the gang and has information that's important to the case. They're also looking for a man who goes by the street name Lil Ryan, who has information critical to the case. They will be found. Sheriff Swanson was quoted as saying, "I will tell you this, if you took advantage of any of these females or any other female or male in a sex slave ring, we're going to find you. You can try to hide it from your families, your friends. You can try to go and put different names on your phones under different profiles and try to do ghost apps. We'll find you." And we pray that you do, Sheriff Swanson. If you have any information on other victims of Michael Barajas or the location of Cody Lower or Lil Ryan, please contact the Genesee County Sheriff's Office at 810-257-3426.
Thank you for joining the fight against modern slavery. If you want to learn more, please let us know you like these true stories and subscribe. We upload new stories every Tuesday. Luke 12:3. What you have said in the dark will be heard in the daylight, and what you have whispered in the ear in the inner rooms will be proclaimed from the roofs.